Had to take a small break, but with that being said, my name is Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org. In today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to do an hour live. I have a special treat for you. Hopefully you enjoy it. This will be a presentation related to Google Business and Google Business Profiles, Google Maps. I think that you'll really enjoy. Because this will be moved to the members only section. If you're not here, you'll miss it. With that being said, if you have not already, please go to the community tab and please take the time to follow the link and use the coupon code so you can get access to tests and freebies, giveaways, get on the mailing list for the free tests. Also, too, get your questions in there if you ever see, if you have a question, post it in the community tab under the questions and answers. If you have not already, please head on over to chrispalmer.org. You could put in PR-CTR or vice versa for 30% off. All right. Depending on the service, right? You'll see the ones that work, it works, but CTR, things along these lines, it will work for you. Google Business Profile Optimization, CTR, basic press releases, premium press releases. I think that's about it for my members, right? That's 30%. That's my whole margin. Okay. So that's for you. All right. That should work. I think it should be live for another week or so. Anyway, enough, Chris. So let's get into the presentation. I have something, a treat for you, right? Usually I'll answer your questions, but this will be a special treat that I think that you'll enjoy. And I hope that you do. So I don't want to waste any time. Let's get directly into it. I'll probably chop this up into sections, but since this is a members only group and this will get moved, this is for you. All right. So I'm going to go through a presentation that I hope that you enjoy. So let's go ahead and deliver that message now. Some things I'll make sure are PG. I'll see if I can give you any extra tips along the way. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just looking for that proper setting. There we are. All right, now you can see the screen will pop right over to here and go right here. I hope that you can see this. All right. Again, I am Chris Palmer with the SEO Mastermind, chrispalmer.org, and Proxy Pixie. These are the three companies, three assets that I spend all of my time on. All right. With that being said, I'll give a few moments for you to come. Really, what I want to do is I want to fill my water bottle up because, as you can see, I'm out of water. And that is also unacceptable. All right, that isn't it. Special treat for you today. I have a special treat for my members, and I know you're going to enjoy this. I know you're going to enjoy this. Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Here. Since this is a stream, I want to say hello to those that are here. So let's go ahead and do this. Chris will turn up in a minute. This is for Mastermind Group, right? This is the Mastermind Group. That is correct. There he is. Yes. Brian, I have no idea what that is. Yes, YouTube Mastermind members, NBA Finals, baby. Oh, oh man, I am. That is not. I do sometimes take shots with little Chris, but that's about it. He's technically better than me. So, Michael, can you post a coupon code? There you go. Good editing software for video app captions. Video app captions. Good video editing software. CapCut is the best. Is that Chris Palmer? My guy, Chase. Good day, Chase. How are you? My mentor on the side, but great guy. Very, very, very good guy. Never asks me for anything. Always very helpful. Wonderful guy. Michael, teammate, good friend of mine, of course. That's why he's in here. And last but not least is hello. So, Doctor Who, hello. Hello to you. So we're dropping people perfect. They're going to miss it. They're going to miss it. Oh, man. This isn't the one to miss. Anyway, moving on. So what we're going to do here is go like this and do this. And there we are. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pop over here and go to slideshow. All right. And we're going to do our presentation for you. All right. So, hello and good day. I am Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org, where we offer SEO service. Besides that, we have a mobile proxy network at proxypixie.com. And of course, the SEO Mastermind for education, training, consulting, masterminds, a testing group. There's a lot going on there. Services consultation at chrispalmer.org, and Proxy Pixie, like I mentioned, is mobile proxies, static proxies, and residential and rotating mobile proxies. So with that being said, if you're here watching this, you know hopefully who I am, but it's never about who I am. It's about what I can do for you and your business. All right. Again, I am Chris Palmer, though, in case I didn't mention that. Now, oh, I forgot this slide here. This slide was left in here because the main mode of the presentation was how do you make dollars or doll hairs with Google Maps. Now, I never angle things this way, even though at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. But that's why I left this in here. I never angle it that way because I always feel, I just don't like that angle personally. When I hear somebody talking, like that's one of those things, like that's why we're all here, but we don't have to talk about it. You know, like those kind of things. So of course, that's why we're here. That's why we're in business, right? To make money, like, of course. But then it lends a level of decay to things, right? In my opinion, but I'm only one man. In any case, in order to make dollars, right? You can see on the screen here that we have a GeoGrid. This is a Local Falcon GeoGrid, not to take away from any others, but for this presentation, that's what I utilized. But this here is a Local Falcon. And when we're looking at a GeoGrid that looks like this, this is how you would not make dollars because you're not ranking. Yes, you're number 5, not in the map pack in your particular area. But if you want to rank, we need to be able to take businesses, lead gens, rank and rents, whatever the map's business profile is. You have to be able to take it from the left side, 12/19 of 2023. See how we're in the 20s and 30s. And then within a week, 2 weeks time, we brought them right up to top 5, right? Moving into top 3 map pack positions. But this is the type of jumps that we want to see. And at chrispalmer.org, that's the kind of jumps you'll get. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not though. Anyway, how we're going to go about getting profiles or being able to rank profiles from here to here, we have to start with actually having the profile. And in a lot of cases, if you don't have a business, an actual business already, like a verified listing, you've had a listing, you have a brick and mortar, there's 2 ways to going about getting a business or an asset, a Google business profile. This is your verified and your unverified listings, and we'll talk about both today. Now, the problem with getting verified listings, right, oftentimes is that you're met with screens that look like this. Now, for some of you that may be watching this that are in the Google business profile space or in the map space, you know about this screen right here. Choose how you verify. This can be very painful when you're trying to scale your business. And this is always the problem with Google business profiles or Google Maps, scalability. And there's a vast difference between being able to get 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 and then having businesses where we have hundreds of Google business profiles. Big difference. Everything changes with scale. All right. And I talked to a lot of guys that are in the space, even here on YouTube, and they, 10, 20, great. But things change when you have hundreds. of profiles that you're managing or creating or whatever you're doing. Okay. But this is always a problem, especially now if we're doing business verifies. Any verification that's not instant is a torture, right? Let's just cut to the chase here. So I want to give you value straight from the very beginning as soon as we start talking, right? Because it's always about value exchange for me. So from the door, I want to be able to offer or provide you value. And note, I'm not reading from anything. So if there's any jumble, note, this is just, I'm just going through the slides and talking. Okay. So bear with me here. So with that being said, the value that I want to give to you is going to be with your Google business profiles. Now I'm going to spare you the exact walkthrough, but if you have a brand new website and you attach your brand new workspace to your brand new business, you're lending what is called a level of trust to that profile. Okay. So have a brand new website, attach a Google workspace. I now have a trusted Google account. When I have a trusted Google account, I have trust when I'm trying to verify my listings. Okay. With that being said, once you have your trusted account that's attached to your new business, you'll head on into Google Maps. Now, I didn't say go to the business website. I didn't say go anywhere else. I led you to this screen on purpose. It's all on purpose. Okay. When we go to this here, you're going to look at a right click. When you do your right click, you're going to be brought with a menu, just like the one you're seeing on your screen, and you're going to add your business in your brand new profile. The first thing that you do is add your business. All right. Much like our business here, which is a verified embedded address. And for my best fans out there watching, right, I can go and get dozens of these. So I don't mind showing this. All right. So for my proxy business, we have a location of verified listing. Here it is. So, but this is the problem with these types of methodologies. Like, I don't mind showing it to you. This is how you get them. This is how we get them. It's one of the ways that we get them. But as you can see here, it's missing a key piece of information. And that key piece of information is the phone number. So when utilizing this methodology of using an account, when you're filling out your profile, it's usually you have to pick which way you're going to verify. And are you going to leave in the website address or are you going to leave in the phone number? This is up for you to decide. But I shared with you how to get the trusted account and how to get that verified listing that's very coveted. But it's up to you how you utilize that information. Value addition number 2. All right. Again, this all goes back to verify. Now, I told you the drawback of the particular method, right? But what's great about this particular method is that if you want to, because I want to give you an add-on, if you add both, okay, and you were to go through the process, what I noticed when I talk to business owners is they give up too easy on themselves and what they think about their dream, right? They give up quick. What I mean by this is they'll try to verify, not utilizing the method, but they'll try to verify an account with a trusted Google account, and they'll get met with the dreaded video verify, and they'll give up. What I have noticed, if you put both informations instead of leaving one out, I'm giving you 2 methods here, right? Utilizing the workspace account. All right, I'm giving you 2 methods. One is you can leave out one section and it'll go through for you instant. But if you add both sections and you go through the process and you just make the video, 1 out of 10 will hit for you. But yeah, don't get discouraged. Like, it might stay in processing. It might be a pain in the butt. But if what's your business or what is the opportunity worth to you? Do you want to try? Don't give up the first time. 1 out of 10 will hit for you. I don't care if it's the 10th time. Even if it took you 15, you'll hit. It's up to you. Anyway, here's some good news, though. We work in multiple markets. What you will find is in these 3 here, top markets, this methodology still works flawlessly. All right. Now, this is the piece that I hear a lot, and I put it in quotation marks. And the piece that I hear very, very often is that, hey, one piece is that won't scale, but it's also way too much work. So, like, you mean, Chris, that I have to buy a domain, attach a workspace, set it all up, and then try. I have to try, right? This is too much work, and this is 1 at a time. this doesn't scale, right? See, you can make it scale with people or dollars, but for the average person, it doesn't scale. This is a problem, right? Or the time value ratio or the monetary investment ratio to value isn't there for them. If it is or it isn't, that's up to you to decide. I just wanted to share with you the information, all right, for free. What is scalable is what is called bulk unverified listings. Okay. This is so scalable and so easy that there's people out there that offer, pin drops, they'll call it, or whatever you want to call them, at $20 a unit. So at $20 per unit, think about this. A verified listing cost, if you have to go buy, is $200 to $500, right? So that tells me that they're harder to get, or there's less quantity for sale. $200 to $500, right? Kind of like a Four Seasons room. They're like $3,000 a night, right? It's the same kind of ratio, right? Like a specialty pizza with a bunch of toppings costs more than this. Why? Because either there's less, they don't sell as more, or it takes me more time or effort or resources to produce it, right? You're with me, I'm sure. With that being said, in order to skip the line or to alleviate that effort, we like to utilize bulk unverified listings. Now, of course, with any plus, there's a negative. Anything that goes up must come down, and there is a problem here. And the primary issue here is that Google does what is called garbage collection, generally on a tri-monthly basis. So what I mean by this is if you execute on this particular plan, that every 90 days, generally, they do a cleanup sweep. All right. So they're going to come in and clean up your mess. So how much money, how fast can you do this? Right? That's the question. And then do you have a team? Anything worth doing, you build a team around. That's what I've found for me. Can you build a team around the process, what I'm about to show you, fast enough in order to execute dollars? Now, there's another drawback, and we're going to talk about this. All right. But before I talk about the drawbacks, let me give you some pros. The pros to using unverified listings as opposed to verified is, number one, is the scalability. Key, crucial, right? Number two, I can generate more phone calls, right? More lures in the water produces more fish, of course. Number three, I can make more doll hairs. Doll hairs as in dollars. A fun twist on words per se, right? But scale and generate more calls, make more money, right? But there's garbage collection. Now, the fastest way to go about doing this is what is called utilizing bulk upload. All right. Now, this is all for informational purposes only. All right. I'm not saying go and do this. I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying you can. All right. It's all for educational purposes only. All right. So with that being said, you can read about bulk uploading things or doing anything that we've talked about today, hypothetically. Right? Not saying that we do or did or will or haven't or whatever, right? This is for you. This is for education. This is an educational channel. So with that being said, on the Google website, you can check this out here. You can read all about it, but Google will actually give you the keys or the blueprint, and it's a wonderful thing. When you're inside your Google Business Profile Manager, if you go up to the left-hand side here, as you can see, mine says Chris Palmer Export. Well, if you go up there, you can change and make different categories. So you can have your main businesses, and then you can have your play around category. That's up to you. But where the magic takes place or happens is right over here. Add your business. Now, I actually took a mini screenshot here, so it will show you when you click this button, you'll see these two options, single business or import business. When you hit on import business, you'll be brought to a screen that looks directly like this. Now, what you can see here is you can see the template, and the template will look directly like this. Download the template that Google gives you and follow the guidelines. Now, the key pieces of information that you need to have, or the things that actually matter, are inside this lineup, but I'm going to point them out specifically because when we're doing bulk upload or we're trying to scale unverified listings, there's two drawbacks, at least what I've found, right? Or somebody has found. Somebody told me, right? The number one drawback is phone numbers. Now, see, each one of those unverified listings, each listing needs to have a unique number. Now, why is that? Just like with myself, Chris Palmer, my favorite fans were able to easily find my profiles and get them whacked for me. or not competitors, right? So that's one drawback. The other piece, or the bigger piece, is when you're scaling out. Like if you have 5 or 10, no problem. But we have hundreds, right? So you can't use the same number or the same number set. But there's a caveat. And that caveat is if you register your phone numbers utilizing what is called 10DLC registration. This is a marketing campaign registration. And there's tons of VoIP and digital reference numbers that you can go and get that are inexpensive per number. So that way I can have a unique phone number per unverified listing or verified listing. But you have to register them for the marketing campaign so I can send text message back and forth, but most importantly, that you know that I'm actually a company and I'm registered, and then you won't get dinged on your phone numbers. 10 DLC registration. Check it out for yourself. After these pages have been created or the bulk upload has been filled out, created, and I submit for my bulk upload or my verified listings, depending on if you're a franchise or not, following all rules and regulations set forth by Google, which is what we do, right? When we follow all the rules, what you'll do is you'll create your pages. And the other drawback is, well, yeah, but what about those unique websites? See, a main drawback, because we know that Google business profiles are going based upon the optimization of the page that they're connected to, right? And we know this because when we look inside of maps on the left-hand side, it will say website mentions, page mentions. Now, what it's pulling from is from the A tags, main navigations, and heading tags that are on the page that it's connected to. Okay, that's what it pulls from. How do we know? Because it says. Google shows us right in the SERP. I have to pick up little Chris, but it's summer, so I don't have to. Okay? He has baseball. So we know what they're pulling from. So in order to alleviate this and not send those Google business profiles to the same page, and this goes for you business owners out there that have actual verified listings or franchises, all sending the same listings for different locations to the homepage. Stop. Because the optimization of the page that it's connected to directly impacts the page that it's connected to. It directly impacts it. Now, I'm not Google. I can't say how much, but if I'm trying to be optimal, I want to have the optimal way to get to the top, right? And I know that this piece actually matters. So what do? We create our unique phone numbers with unique DLC registrations, right? We get the okay for those number sets because you have to register them as a franchise, right? And then I set up my website, my franchise website, of course, to each individual page that's hyper optimized to the service and the product and the brand that I actually provide that service on. Unique page on the site. Now I'm in an optimal mode and I have a lesser probability of getting my listing taken down. Now, I'll point this out to you. Another drawback of what we'll find out, and we'll talk about this later on, I'll tell you about these drawbacks. But when you get this right, I want to point this out, okay? This may or may not have been a client from the past. And I just want to show you the strategy in which you can create unverified listings, and with time, the ones that stick around, because so much time has passed, and we're going to talk about other strategies for getting these to verify in future slides here, but because of the strength of the account, because of the uniqueness of the account, because of time, and because of the other strategies that we're going to talk about in a few slides from now, sometimes, a lot of times, unverified listings can become verified depending on where you decide to place them. I'm showing you this example to point out where you need to place them. Okay? You don't want to place them at a residential home. You want to place them at an existing business. Ranking unverified to get clicks or calls. Okay? This is a centralized issue with this methodology. Okay? See, the reason why we want to scale and the reason why I showed bulk import, if you want to call it, for you franchise businesses out there following all rules and regulations like I do, the days of 10 miles, like 10-mile radiuses. And I'm sure you could point out, oh, here's a business for some obscure niche, or here's 1 out of 100 that's ranking for this long distance. Listen, my friend, unverified listings used to get 10 miles. Your own verified listings that you've been working on for years used to get 10 miles. But for the bulk, at scale, looking at hundreds for unverified listings, the days of 10 and 5 miles are gone. You're lucky to get a mile to a half mile around where that unverified listing is at. So what I want to point out here is when you're doing this strategy, not only is there some process here that I'm walking you through, right? How to get it, how to set it up. Here's what to look out for. Here's some key crucial points that you want to make sure so we can actually rank it. You got your exact match, point to a unique page, unique number, right? We're walking through the process, but we want as many of these as possible, because when you have an exact match that's unique to a unique page with a unique number, as long as they're in that half-mile radius, I guarantee you show up. Guaranteed. But you got to do more work. You have to get more out there. And then note, garbage collector comes around every 90 days to clean this mess up. Some of them will stay, but this mess will be cleaned up. Okay? So be prepared for that. Be ready. All right? Moving on. Be ready. Here's a fun example of how we go about ranking them. Now, these assets, right? Because I knew I was showing this to others, may or may not still be in play. But it doesn't matter. Okay. So we had a business. All right. This is a unverified listing. I just want to showcase to you that we have a unverified listing, C. Campbell Pony Rides. I put this in place here specifically for a more live version of this presentation. So it's already been shown a million times. That's fine, right? I just wanted, I wanted to be prepared for a more live version, so I put this in place. This is just showcasing to you an unverified, verification required, unverified listing. Now, what makes this absolutely hysterical is that somebody named C. Campbell was offering pony rides on Sweet Lips Road. Pony rides on Sweet Lips Road. That may or may not be funny to you, but I thought it was hysterical. Let's move on. With that being said, here it is again, right here in Henderson, top of the food chart, looking for pony rides in this city. I'm showcasing to you the power, the potency. Yeah, it's pony rides, but we were doing this for personal injury lawyers. We were doing this for Sell Your House Fast. We're out there. Covers. We're out there. With that being said, it's ranking. It's unverified. Now, what you'll run into, though, is the process to get it to rank. Now, like I mentioned before, there's a cleanup process. Like, this is a process. This isn't easy. It's not easy to make dollars. It's difficult. But at least if you want to play the maps game, this is what I have found to be successful, right? And there's iterations and modifications and things change, but, sometimes things won't work as good, but they always keep working, right? So let's keep going. I want to point out this co-citation. All right, this is just, okay, that was too much. But the power of co-citation for ranking. All right, I think I took out some slides and I modified these. All right. So in order to get these to rank unverified listings, remember, these are unverified listings, right? We know we're only getting a half-mile radius because they're hyper-specific to a specific location, right? We had a number like we're talking low-cost volume, all right? What we utilize in order to rank these, this is the same type of process that we utilize to rank our verified listings for business owners. Now, sometimes we're not going to go as low cost because it's a business. There can't be any risk, right? But when we're doing this, it's still the same principles apply. Those principles are bulk NAP, name, address, phone number. All right. Now, what I mean by bulk NAP is name, address, phone number. If you're in this space, have you ever noticed when you do a boatload, I'm talking tens of thousands, let's say 50,000 image links or comment links that are name, address, phone number with some authoritative NAP, that could be citation, directory, and or PR, inexpensive PR. what you'll notice is, or better yet, how about if you're in the chiropractor niche or any of these niches where there's these large directories that you can pay, you get listed on their paid version, like let's say ZocDoc, and then magically a Google business profile appears. Oftentimes, even a one will appear and it will actually conflict with your real one. And then you got to get this one removed. It happens all the time. When you brute force name, address, phone number consistently and persistently enough, not only will it be able to help my asset rank, but they may even create a profile for you. Not always, sometimes. But what will happen is you will push that asset up. All of these things can be produced and created very inexpensively, depending on who you are, your team, and the tools that you have at your disposal. All right. But this is the main play for ranking, at least for off page. How many alarms do I have? When it comes to little C, I want to make sure I get to it. Anyway, this right here is a reference to authoritative NAP information, authoritative. What does that mean, Chris? Well, that would mean that I'm getting co-citation on authoritative websites such as Fox 40, right? What's authoritative mean? Authoritative means that when they produce a post, even a press release that's been syndicated 500 times, it auto goes into the SERP. That's authority, right? When you post blogs on your website, do they automatically go right into the SERP that day? Probably not. Right? But that's the difference between authoritative and non-authoritative. How often does Google visit your site? And how fast do your pages rank? And how fast do they get into the SERPs? And how long do they stay into the SERPs? This all plays a part into authority. Just because it's not getting a boatload of traffic and it's not a DR80 doesn't mean it's not authoritative. With that being said, I still have to have cost mitigation in the back of my mind, right? Because remember, we know that the garbage man's coming every 6 months. I don't want to push too much on this, but here's another piece of the puzzle, because like I just shown on this last one, we have authoritative NAP, that's PR, directories, low cost, easy to execute on, generally 10 cents, 5 cents a piece to have somebody go and build. Citations, same exact thing. Automation, one of the tools that we like to use is called Scrapebox. Why? Because there's unlimited sites that will allow niche specific and or any specific name, address, phone number, name, address, phone number. And then when we're linking back, if we decide to link back, you do not link back to your website. You link back to the Google actual URL. Something that's not in the slides that I want to give to you is that Google is a website just like yours. Yes, their website is huge and the most well-known, and they have a DR100. But you know that website? Google.maps.com / your business address / the longitude and latitude / a bunch of stick parameters that have nothing to do with anything except for the browser and the size of the window. Yeah, that's a URL on a website. That website so happens to be Google, but backlinks actually affect how often or how important a page is. You can influence how important your page is perceived by Google by building links to Google. Okay? Moving on. Oh, I already clicked the button. When moving on here, I want to point this out. All right. And that last piece may be not news to some people, but for a lot of my good friends out there and business owners that are just doing business, that are not SEOs, I really want to point that out to you. Any type of, and a lot of pieces go back to what's your risk tolerance. If there's risk tolerance, we always want to mitigate not building links to our personal assets. If I'm building it to Google and I could get a lift, like you're not going to penalize Google. But think about it. Google already has 1 billion backlinks, but what about that specific page? If you're building backlinks to that specific page and then you have another player that has their own page, they have their own Google business URL, like who's going to be rewarded? I know it's only one factor, but think about it. Backlinks influence rank. I just want to point that out. But we don't build anything to our assets if your risk tolerance is 0. Also, we don't build links to share links because those links are dynamic. Dynamic meaning that they change. Every time you click the button, the link changes. Why? Because they're tracking. They're tracking the usage. And how do we know this? Because when we look at the source code, when you hover over it, there's literally a select and a counter on those links. Don't believe me? Go and look. It'll tell you the count, and it changes, right? And those counts are in jQuery, which are fed back into the algorithm. You can go and look at the code for yourself. Anyway, I digress. Let's move on. I just want to make sure that you have a full scope or a full understanding. All right. This is a main aspect of things. All right. When we're using unverified listings, if you have no idea, or maybe you're just joining me for this particular presentation, and I hope you're enjoying it so far. All right. A big aspect for actual business owners or people that don't do this every day, right? They'll say, yeah, those unverifieds are a good idea, or those listings are okay, but unverified listings can't get reviews. And without reviews, no one's going to trust the business. And you're right, in a sense, right? But if you own that whole SERP, they only have one choice. It's to click on one of yours, right? But reviews actually can stick on unverified listings. Okay. Now, this was just a little stat that I pulled out related to, hey, if they trust your business, the probability of you getting a click significantly increases. But I think we are both in agreement on this, right? So unverified listings can be reviewed. Did you know that? Well, if you didn't, here, I'll even point out to you how it can be done. Let's take our example that we had here. If you go into this particular example here with C. Campbell, I think I erased this specifically because it was just for a test. I was just goofing around, right? But what I want to point out is on desktop, if you scroll down here, you can see that you can still write a review even if the business is unverified. Okay? There's no website, there's no phone number, but you can still leave a review. Okay? Also, I want to point this out. Just like a backlink, and I've already tested this. Now, if you're selling reviews, I don't know who would do that, right? I know it's against the guidelines. I get it, right? But let's just say you did, right? Let's say you were selling reviews or buying reviews. Of course, you want that review to show up. But if you're an agency owner, right? If you're a friend and you understand that the client is not buying a service, they're buying a result. Just like backlinks, just because it's not in the forward-facing index, the search results, the SERP, right? Like a backlink. Just because it's not there doesn't mean it's not passing juice. It still is, as long as that page was crawled, cached, and indexed. There's two types of indexes, and if you don't believe me, you can go and check the patent about indexing and how the index works. This is how Google works. So as long as they see it, it's been indexed. It's the same with a review. Now, how do I know this? How can you prove this, Chris? Well, not only do I have 3 tests to prove it at SEOmastermind.org, but also, let's say you were to go out and buy 100 Google accounts right now. I'm not saying you should, but if you did, if you bought 100 Google accounts right now, and say you were to put them all on their own IPs, and they were all unique, right? If you were going to do this, and you went out and left reviews, 100 reviews on a business, but not one of those reviews showed up, but you went into the contributor of each of those profiles, I guarantee that the review exists, and I guarantee that it was given a contributor ID, right? The review has a contributor. The contributor is your account, and then you have an ID. That ID is equivalent to a machine-readable entity ID. That's an ID from a contributor that's sitting on Google's servers. If it didn't exist, why would Google spend the money and the resource to store it, right? Moving on. Co-citation is so strong. Now, we talked about co-citation. This is the iteration without a link, putting out there name, address, phone number, name, address, phone number, name, address, phone number, description, name, address, phone number, description, becoming synonymous with the services that you provide. Brand, business, service, phone number, address, description. Bang, 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 bang. Hundreds, tens of thousands of times. You with me so far? So it's so strong that I even had in one of the most competitive markets in the world, SEO, in one of the most competitive states, in one of the most competitive cities, I was still able to rank a suspended listing. There's more of these out there, but I realized I have a lot of fans. So I tend not to show or name stuff after myself anymore. But with that being said, I want to showcase SEO Consulting in Brooklyn. Remember, these are suspended unverified listings. So note, it's not like it's hyper specific because that's how they show. That's all we're trying to get the phone calls off of. Not only will a suspended listing show, but one of the slides that I took out because it was a client and I can't show that is oftentimes if you have the exact match and you're strong enough with your NAP co-citation, you'll get the knowledge panel on desktop. So you'll be in the 3-pack and then you'll get the pop out. You know what I'm talking about? Because you have the exact match, it matches the query. That's what you're after. That's what you're after. Like, think about it. What's the probability of you generating a phone call if you're in the map pack and your piece pops up and you have at least one 5-star review? Guaranteed. Moving on. Apply what is learned. All right. I want to walk through some of the process in case you still haven't been able to visualize this so far. And I want to point this out. All right. So we had a friend. I thought I took this out. I apologize. Well, he has a vetted, verified listing that's been there for 20 years, so I doubt that's going anywhere. And we've already been wiped out, so I don't mind sharing this with you. Okay. Sorry, excuse me. Past client discount plumbing. All right. This is a term. It gets 2,900 monthly visitors per month. See, the objective when you're trying to produce authority for an exact match is you're trying to switch them thinking this being a keyword or an exact match phrase to a brand. And when you can successfully make Google think that this exact match keyword is the brand, dominate for that keyword anywhere you go. And that means the same thing for organic and for maps, but we're only talking about maps today. All right. So with that being said, this is Minneapolis. Minneapolis has over 500,000 people. Huge, huge. This isn't some joker city. And plumbing, it might look sweet, but I don't know if you've ever done plumbing before. It's not the easiest of niches. It's a difficult niche in a massive metropolitan area. Okay. And this is this wasn't a joke. So when we first took this particular client on, this is their map pack. This was the 6th. This has been a while. So again, this is for presentation. So we have to show, stuff that time has passed. All right. With that being said, we were able to go in for every single unverified listing that we created an equivalent page. This is what it looks like. It's in the sitemap. Unverifieds are pointing to the page. That page is pointing to our verified. The objective here was not to rank the unverifieds. It was for us, not for him. But our goal was to get more coverage for that verified listing. Remember, our first goal was to take over the keyword to become synonymous with an exact match, but it's actually our brand, and then dominate in maps and organic. Okay, now it's been some time. I don't know who he's with now or what's going on, but I'm sharing with you a strategy that we use to this day. Okay. With that being said, this is Plumbing Minneapolis, huge city, hard service. Bam, there's our guy. When we took a look at the map, I don't know if you checked that or not, but this was on the 17th. Okay. So February to March, this right here is a 80-mile radius. Domination. 80-mile radius. We start getting tighter. 30-mile radius. I took some slides out. I thought I took them all out, but I shared it with you. Okay. I just wanted to point that out to you. Moving on. Now, those types of big maps like that, those have shrunk. And being able to pull that off, getting Google to do that takes thousands. That's not cheap. That's not for everybody. That's not for the faint of heart. I also have a gentleman that's in the home space. I won't say what the brand is, but we were able to successfully take a very, very coveted term within the home space and be able to have Google not think that this is the exact match, but think it's us. Very difficult, very time consuming. But with these strategies, it's effective. For CTR, there's tons of tools and people get mixed results even after getting everything right. And the reason why I'm segueing into this precise phrase or paragraph is because we talked about a lot of the off-page and on-page requirements. And there's other small details that I left out, of course, right? I'm giving you the overview, the strategy per se. But what I'm giving you here is the next piece of the puzzle. Now, a lot of people use CTR, click-through rate, all right? And they'll manipulate the click, the action, the conversion action. And then what you'll hear is people get mixed results. The reason why is because when clicks increase, that would mean that the brand and the overall presence, impressions, and secondary searches should also increase, not just clicks. So they'll get a temporary boost from the clicks and the actions for their keywords. But once Google looks at their blended data, they quickly renegotiate where you were every time. So the game changer for us, all right, was not only applying CTR, and yes, I build a proxy network. Yes, we have lots of accounts. I have an advantage because I have the tools and the resources, and I've been working on this since 2017. Remember when I first came out with that CTR training? I was switching proxies. Like, that was me figuring stuff out. I've been working on this since 2017 to figure out the formula. But with that being said, it doesn't matter. The game changer for us was everything that I just mentioned, plus the bulk impressions. This is because when I increase overall clicks, session time, dwell time, click through, page visits within a session, I also need to increase the amount of people and activity on the brand. I need to be able to, the bottom line is this, you have to change the Google trend line, period, end of statement. If your Google trend line isn't changing while you're running CTR, you'll stagnate. That's it. Now, for you small business owners out there, your plumbers, your pressure washers, guys that we're only running a few clicks for, 5 clicks, 10 clicks a day, but for larger personal injury law firms that we work with, you know who you are if you're watching this, people that have lots of locations. The reason why we've been able to be successful with the CTR campaigns, even on the smaller campaigns, is because we're not only increasing clicks in traffic, but we're also increasing overall impressions and the amount of people that are actively looking for you and making your locations, services, and brand synonymous with one another. Crucial. Now, in order to do this, in order to do this, because you don't have the exact formula, I'll be happy to share something like this with you. Okay. What I will point out to you is that if you take a look at the locations tab or the locations category, this has been advanced on we're probably on the second or third iteration from the time that I took this picture. But the concepts are very much the same. Now, what you're looking at here is you have a fake brand, business, or service. Aside of that, you have co-occurring key phrases. Now, why co-occurring key phrases, Chris? Because co-occurring key phrases are the words that are often talked about when talking about a subject. Now, why would I include those? Because relevance equals rank. I can't talk about this without talking about that. They go together. That's why they're co-occurring key phrases. So a normal human being isn't just typing in hundreds of thousands of times the same thing over and over. We need some diversity. With that being said, the next category that you're looking at are locations, but we don't care about location because we're talking to the bot. There's no clicks being initiated here. Influence the overall impressions within a particular category, talking about a business, location, co-occurring key phrases, and then the keywords that matter to the business. Now I'm improving the overall impression share here. Now, the reason we're associating an M code is because just like with the business has what is called a G code. The G code is also referred to as the machine readable entity ID, not the KGM ID, but the machine readable entity ID. Now, locations, businesses, images, audio, video are all referenced and have machine readable entity IDs. Locations have a machine ID, and it's called the M code. If you go to Google Maps and search for a business and search for /M/ every, not business, I'm sorry, location, every location has a validated and verified M code that's associated to the locale. So what we're looking to do is tie in co-occurring key phrases, keywords, and locations to a business. And then we're looking to run tens of thousands of queries and requests without a click, searching for this business using this formula. Moving on. All this equals map pack rankings in the most competitive markets. What I'm showing to you here is one of my clients. The top one is not it. That's a gentleman by the name of Chris Dreyer. He has a firm that's pretty large. He's a pain in my behind, but that's okay. One of the other two is ours. I'm not going to say because that will not, I want to keep this client. Let's move on. Do maps engagements move the needle? I want to give you some tidbits so you can see the value in which our testing group has and how I come to these realizations. The reason why I come to these realizations isn't just because we're doing white label and we have numerous clients, but because we actually test. Come up with an idea, or we see other people doing something and we try it. A course or somebody says something. My biggest favorite thing to do is somebody selling something. We'll take that methodology or that strategy and we'll go and test it 2 times. If it works both times, it's a winner, right? Now, there's all types of testing. I think that the testing was made popular by a gentleman by the name of Kyle Roof, highly respected. He does something that is called, I forget, right? Single variable testing. So he'll try to negate all of the different aspects of a test. For me, if it doesn't work in the wild, to me, there's no value. This is my opinion. So when we do tests, we do things that are out in the wild when there's other factors at play. If I can get a positive result more than once when there's other factors at play, then this is a powerful factor. If I produce a particular result when there's no other factors, just this, it might be a factor, but if it's only a factor that moves the needle this much and not this much, I don't care. I don't care. Now, we still test all types of things, but that's just my opinion, and that's how I do things. Okay? Just so you know. So with that being said, but I think back to that point, there's value in all. And I love those guys, by the way. I just want to make that clear. Not taking away from this. I've learned tons from these gentlemen. But with that being said, I know it is valuable to me. It's got to move the needle in the open market. It has to. If it doesn't move the needle more than one time or multiple times or in multiple niches, there's no value to me. If it can't produce a result or help my clients or my customers, I don't care if it worked by itself. I just don't. With that being said, we're taking a look at very simple stuff for maps, stuff that's easy to do and scale. So what we did is we had, I think 2 or 3 accounts, unique accounts, unique IPs, unique profiles. Yes, customer avatars matter. If you're in the plumbing niche and on average, because of the blended data and the information that Google has, they're looking at if the typical person that comes to your website is between the ages of 30 and 45 and they're male, and you send a 19-year-old female, the probability of that click or that session having any impact on your site is highly unlikely. With that being said, what I want to point out here is we were checking the engagements within the profiles. What's an engagement? Most specifically, we were going into the profile and leaving thumbs up on the assets. Now, we've duplicated this test numerous times, at least 3 times that I can recall, and different levels. As time has progressed, we have more accounts and understood more. So we jacked up the amount of engagements. Thumbs up within the review system, there's no value, at least from my testing. and out in the wild on real accounts, right? Because it's nothing to log into 50 accounts, leave 50 thumbs up on everything. The only thing that can change is that if you're making a more relevant review, and I'll teach you a trick, one trick out of dozens. If you have, let's say Google likes to showcase inside of desktop, when you're looking at your business, they'll show 3 reviews. These reviews are generally the most relevant, and they oftentimes they love to have 2 positives and 1 negative, sometimes 2 negatives and 1 positive. Business owners dislike this immensely. So what we had to go and test and figure out was, hey, when Google decides to showcase 1 or 2 negatives at the top as a showcase under your business, the audacity, how do you dump them? I need to show positives. More importantly, I want to show the reviews I want to show. One of the ways to do this is with engagements, but more powerful than that is, do the images within a review make a review more relevant? Now remember, the reviews are sorted by relevance. So that's the top or the default sort order, relevance. Okay. So there's relevance, age, review count, positive, negative, right? And then that's how the sort goes. The freshness of the review matters, but it's not as important as the word usage or choice within the review. Also, which type of image is within the review. And I'll showcase here. See how, this is the showcase. See how these are at the top? It'll pick it out. Like this is within the review section, and then Google picks out these reviews. It'll just choose them. Like it seems as though they just choose them, by random, but nothing's random with Google, I assure you. There's a methodology to this. But without getting more in depth about this, I just want to point out that the usage of images, and no, you don't have to geotag them. You can, but that's another talk for another day. But what this will do is it will make your review more relevant. Relevance equals rank. The more relevant you can make the review, the better off your overall profile is, and the better your review will rank. Okay? So one more tidbit that I'll give you just to give you more value is on relevance equals rank, location. If you read these reviews, location is more important than keywords. And that's all I'm going to say. Moving on, because it kills double whammies. It's a double whammy. The double whammy is it's an entity and it's location specific. That's all I have for you. Let's move on. Do 11-cent clicks hurt GMB rankings? Now, at the time of this initial pictures and stuff, things have changed. If there is no vetted or validated clicks coming in and you're only feeding in 11-cent clicks from a platform such as Microworkers, you will not go from this to this. I want to point out the reason why this image changed and why I showed this image is because when you're utilizing your tool sets, running traffic, clicks, impressions, you got the optimization right, and then you send in your 11-cent clicks, you're able to take businesses from the 20s and 30s, darn near 40s, to spot 5 in 14 days or less every time, right? Breaking that 3-point barrier, that's time, but you can usually get them right up there, okay? And did it hurt us? No, it only helped. Now, we did more testing. And I'll share this with you. I know we're probably coming up with the end of time here. Oh, yeah, I'm way over. But that's okay. Hopefully you're enjoying this. We'll call it a day. I know this is valuable. This will get moved to the members only. So for those of you that are here, I hope that this has been valuable. I hope that you've enjoyed. I'll have a Q&A at the end. But does botted VPN traffic, and get your questions in now, I'll answer them freely and openly, and then I'm moving this to members. Does botted VPN traffic hurt a business? Okay. Now, this is an old tool that this particular gentleman has an API. He's changed everything. We worked side by side with this gentleman for our custom that we use currently. Very, very similar, but it's a whole different system now. You can get it as a regular consumer. We had him do custom work for us. but this is an old picture. I just want to point that out to you. It doesn't work like this anymore. But the traffic, the impressions, the clicks that it generates using a VPN. The reason why VPN is because Google knows what those IPs are. Those IPs get vetted and verified traffic over them. Google knows those IPs. They know they're from Ghost VPN, Proton VPN, NordVPN. They know those. Normal people are using those IPs every day, doing normal things. Some may be doing something shady. Most are just doing normal browsing and want to stay safe, right? We like to utilize these assets for our customers' benefit, right? But we needed to know, is it going to hurt us? And does it actually show up? Is it counted? So this is another client I can't showcase right now. Well, yes, I can because he has multiple locations. He's a winner. Porsche repair, BMW repair, all types of repair service. This particular guy's like, we rank everywhere. He's been in business forever. He does a lot of paid. We do a lot of stuff for this gentleman, but the proof's in the pudding. With that being said, does botted VPN traffic show in GMA? That's Google. Google Business. It's really the Google Business Analytics, right? Google My Business Analytics. So as you can see here, we're running VPN traffic, and if you take a look at these strings, they're very natural. This one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. You can make your assumptions on how natural, right? Very key performance words are being placed in here 171 times. Aventura, Florida, brand name, primary keyword, primary variations of keyword, over and over. And yes, it's counted. And that is going to wrap up for today's presentation related to Google Business Profile and Google Maps. My name is Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org. If you need traffic, clicks, services, anything. If you just want a second pair of eyes or you want some done with you service, go to chrispalmer.org. I do consultation. I do done for you service. I offer white label. You need proxies for any type of service, proxypixie.com. If you just want to learn more, I'm always willing. If you're doing testing, I want to see your tests. I buy tests. If you're testing and you're doing anything that's right now, please come see me. Join my group. If you offer tests, I'll let you into the group for free. Like, I'm looking for people that are just like me. I want to learn with you. Let's learn together. It's SEOmastermind.org. All right. I need a 3-second interlude. I'm going to grab a piece of gum, take a sip of water. Please get your questions in. I'd love to answer your questions related to this topic or anything you need help with. I'm going to move this to the members only section here on YouTube so you could watch it maybe later if you weren't able to watch the live session. All right. I'll give you a few moments to go ahead and get your questions in. I'll be right back. All right. Please get your questions in. I'll be right back. All right. Anyway, I'm back. All right. Let's answer any questions that you might have. I'm not going to go into finite details about verification, not in this setting. Okay. But anything else, I'm I'm very open to. Okay. I gave what I wanted to in the open setting. Okay. Just to make sure. In case I see some of that stuff, no disrespect. I just don't want to, I don't want to burn it. All right. For those of you that are doing this kind of thing, though, like I gave you enough to run with. All right. Okay. All right. So no questions? Wow. I'm blown away. Where's the coupon code? I missed it. So it's in YouTube community. So there's a regular community tab where anybody across the world, which is just mind blowing to me. Like I love talking to people. Well, on a friendly, it's awesome. So, hey, Carlos, what a great guy, man. Carlos is a great guy. I hope everything is going well for you. I talk to this gentleman all the time. He works he used to work. I don't know what he's doing now, but he worked in a whiskey plant, right? And every time I talk to him, he's sober. Like, hats off to you, Carlos. Like, if I was there every day, like, I'd be like, how about a sip? I'm just joking. I'm joking. I know it's work. I'm just joking. I'm just joshing you. Speaking of Josh, man, somebody I always wanted to talk to, but I never had the chance to. I don't even know if he's on YouTube anymore. There used to be this dude, right? He's friends with Chase. I saw Chase in here and it popped in my head. And Josh, there used to be this dude on YouTube, and he was so like he was so quirky. It would be like funny. It was fun to watch. I enjoyed watching him. Man, I can't think of his last name, but his first name was Josh. He did SEO at Chase. Dude, he was hysterical. Man, I wonder if he's still around. Well, if he's not, it doesn't matter. But man, I always wanted to talk to him, and I thought it would be fun to chat with that dude. If you ever see this guy, come see me, man. Let's do a live. I think it would be fun. There's no question it would be fun. Man, you know what though? Like, I started watching some of the older videos or the new stuff. I did notice he had I knew he was joking and being like silly. He had this air about him though, like as if he was above. So like there was that, but I took it as a joke. Like, I was just like laughing about it. But yeah, man, he'd be fun to have a chat with. But anyway, moving on. I was just thinking about his sessions. He was a funny dude, man. Super fun. All okay. So the private session is now posted. Okay. Well, yeah, but that was long. I think we're on OT. If there is anybody that needs to go to the private, let me know below. If not, I'm going to cut this because I feel like I was talking forever there. Neil. Hello, Neil. Just become a member here and pick YouTube Mastermind for $25 hairs. If you're interested, yes. Of course. Good day from Hot AZ. Hey, Riches. Good to see you. Great to see you. I hope everything's okay. If you have any questions related to Google Maps, Google Business, local, I'm your guy. I'm consistent. I do this every single day. I don't like just magically come up with things and then vanish. Like, I've been around. I've been around a long time. Hey, Chris, I built out my site for local businesses. Awesome. First question. Top competition for DR 14 to 40, referring domains, and main page has 300 to 400 words. Will it be hard to outrank? See, you left out some crucial things. And those crucial elements is how long has it been there? Because the stuff that you gave me is for me to automatically say, that's going to be a wash. But the information that you didn't give me, that I assume you just left out just to see what I would say, is how long has that domain been there? Also, what is the domain name? And do they only get one keyword? Are they only ranking for one thing? Do they have an exact match? How long have they been there? Also, the players that are underneath them, like the top 5 people, how long have they been there? Do any of them have an exact match or a partial match domain? And how long have they been there? And how many referring domains do they have? Because this is something this is a tip. I'm going to make a video about this. But those other players that are down below, they've been trying too. Like, we're not the only ones that are going after particular SERPs. There's other players that have been trying, and generally it's evident. Their internal links are on point. Their technical is on point. Their backlinks are on point. So if you go looking at the players that are underneath the top person, especially if it's an exact match, and you see they have triple the referring domains, their on pages on point. Their internal link flow is pointing to this page. Like, they're doing everything right. Right? Sometimes you have to look at the other players because they have been trying harder than you, and they started before you, and they still haven't succeeded because that person has been there forever. They're never getting off that spot. You see? So with that being said, take a look at the age, exact match, partial match, and look at the other players. Then you could get a better scope of what the competition is going to be. All right? Hopefully that helps you out some. Minneapolis is pronounced, oh, Richest, come on. I know you got to be busting me. Okay. Fair enough, ma'am. Jossam. Hey, can I rank my Google business profile in another location? Like, my business location is Pembroke Pines. And I think that's Florida, right? I know that area pretty well. But I want to rank in Fort Lauderdale. My business type is cleaning services. Okay. So Pembroke Pines from Fort Lauderdale, I think they're close, but they're not that close. Pembroke Pines to Fort Lauderdale. Okay. Now, this is 18 miles. The probability of you ranking that up there is highly unlikely. The better thing to do, especially when we're talking about I'm in Pembroke Pines and I want to rank in a big city, a relatively competitive market, right? Kind of, depending. Cleaning service, for sure. There's a lot of players out there in cleaning service. I work with a cleaning service called Mary Maids, right? I've done a lot of their location work. They have a big team. I've worked on certain sections in certain states, in certain cities. Okay, we'll just say that. All right. I've been on their team. I know some of their people. With that being said, there's other players involved too. You know, like the chances of you getting, like, there's some big squads in front of you. If it's maid service or cleaning service, that type of thing, you're going to have a hard run, brother, especially 18 miles away. If we're just talking about maps, and we're not talking about organic or paid. Like, those guys are vicious. Not saying you can't do it, but the GBP, highly unlikely. On a scale from 1 to 10, in my opinion, 10 being the best chance of success, I would give you a 0.75. So almost a percentage, in my opinion. And I hope that you can go and do it. You know what I mean? Be like, yo, Chris, I did this. And I'll be like, bro, let me learn from you, sensei. You know what I mean? All right, let's keep going here. All right, Timothy, Chris, if you're working on service company that has 60 locations across the USA, what plugin or maps program would you use for the location pages? Andrea, Bay, Angelica, Tammy, and Dave. Oh, that's my team. I'm just joking. I'm feeling joking today, you know? See, I have a squad. So I'm not utilizing... Now, mind you, when we're creating the actual asset, all right, so we do have some helpers. I take that back. So when we're creating the actual content, this is custom crafted, either Llama or Gemini content. It's going to be Google-based AI, all right, that has been fine-tuned based upon the SERP. So we'll fine-tune the content for larger projects we're talking about here, all right? So you're asking me for the best chance of success, 60 locations, like, you're going big. You're not just one little spot where you need some decent content, right? You're going to fine tune based upon your niche. So you get all the co-occurring key phrases, and it just turns out well-written content that Google expects, right? Once you have that, if you're using WordPress, what we use is bulk CSV upload, because what we found is we can create the content put it into a XLSX, convert to CSV, and then bulk upload our content with the SEO Press plugin. We can set the title, meta description, uh, all the SEO keywords, like all the SEO stuff and the content and everything all at once with bulk CSV upload after it's been created using AI. And then, of course, before it gets put into that CSV, we have to optimize it with Cora or Pop or whatever, Surf or whatever you're using. You have to tune it. And then you put it into your CSV and then you upload. That's how we do it. Like spot on, exactly how we do it. And if you've worked with us and you've seen us, like we put, like you'll go to bed one day, the next day you'll wake up and there'll be 700 pages done. And you'll be like, what happened? You know? And that's how we do it. There you go. Yes, this was great. Jose, thank you, brother. Richest, thank you, Chris. No problem, of course. Chris, I built out my site for local businesses. The top competition has DA14. 40 referrings. I already saw this. Does coupon work for consultation? Would love to jump on an hour. I don't, the only thing that, see, I used to give discounts on time, but for me, it's as the years have passed, I used to give discounts on time. I used to do consultations for low. But it's the only thing that I don't give a discount on is my personal time. So like I offer 3 hours a day, like 8:30 to 12, I'll do my consultations. From 12 to 3 are client or intake calls. And then at nighttime, 9:30 to 11, I offer late night calls, but it's double cost, right? Because that's my sleep time. So I'm willing to trade sleep time for dollars. Unfortunately, hey, I'll get out of bed, right? But I don't offer a discount on time. I can't. I just can't. I can't. But I have coupons. Anything you need help with, whether it's service, I'm willing to work with you. If you have volume of service that you need, I'll definitely work with you. You know what I mean? As far as cost is concerned, because I'm willing to take less profit to secure a long-term relationship. All right. But my time, I really can't. This type of setting, it's different because I'm able to help a lot of people all in one shot, right? You asked me a question like this. I just told, 100 people, All right. But anyway, I'd love to talk to you, brother, but I just, not my time. Oh, I will say this though. However, if you want, very similar, recommendation, or if he gets stumped, he gets his messages answered instantly. My brother is in my consultations, 12 to 3. I mean, only if I was going to cut it, Michael, I'm going to be honest with you, because there's 15 minutes. I gave a presentation. I gave a lot of value. I was really going to cut it and go eat and call it a day. Is there people there? Let's go see. I was going to cut it all together, to be honest with you. Chris, did you see my question? Yep, I did. Okay. Here, let's take care of this. I think this will be valuable for everybody. We do usually split these sessions now. I'll split them in half. The first one's complimentary, but since today was more of a presentation, I'm going to cut this in a few minutes. I'll get through your questions. Hopefully it answers everything, and I'm going to cut it. All right, because I'm tired, Mike. I'm good for today, Michael. After doing that, I'm good. Would it be beneficial to use slug keyword for my homepage and set WordPress to set that as the homepage, if that makes sense? if you only have one location, right? In my personal opinion, if you only offer one service, one location, your homepage is branded. But then you only have one service that you care about and one location that you provide service or services in, then yes, you can push it to that internal page. Now, if you have more than one service and you offer services in a lot of locations, right, within a particular area, but you only have one GBP, I'd send it to the homepage. Hopefully that helps you out. How do you increase impressions? By creating a search and pressing enter without a click. Chris, did you see the question? Yes, and I answered it. Google reviews versus Trustpilot reviews. I think it depends upon the market that you're asking. You know, for me and for businesses that I work with, I feel that there's more weight for Google reviews, and they're certainly harder to get and to keep. I mean, there's a million people and their brother offering Google services reviews, but are they location specific? Do they stick? Do they guarantee them longer than a week or a month? Are the faces or the names Western? Or are they geo specific? You know, there's a lot. There's I've had to learn this the hard way as far as quality of reviews and being able to produce a high quality service for people. There's a vast difference between, you know, $1 review or a $10 review and a $40 review. Huge difference. All right. It's an exact match domain and it's been there since 2017. So I think you know, I heard somebody say this, and it stuck with me. The number 2 person at Google is still rich, right? Like, yeah, like everybody knows Larry, right? Like everybody knows he's got the page rank and like he's the Don Dada. But then there was that other dude. What was his name again? Sergi something? Like, dude, he was still the man. Or the woman, however you want to look at it. But what I'm getting at is that guy's been there since 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 7 years. Whew. Like the number 2 player is still going to find success. You know? Like, do I think you have a chance to knock him off? Sure. But do I think that the odds are in your favor? No, I do not. You have somebody that's been sitting there longer than 5 years with an exact match domain. Clearly, Google, if you search Google, you get the point. All right. You get the point. Like Google's a product just like your product that you're offering or the service that you're offering. Like that number 1 player is a surefire bet. They've been there for longer than 5 years. They have the exact match. Google has obviously sent them traffic, and the people that have been onto that website have dwelled, have sat, long session times, internal links. I'm sure that person has ran ads. They've had conversions. They're trusted. It's hard to beat that trust factor. It's hard to knock off the number 1 guy in any SERP, especially a branded or a keyword SERP that produces dollars. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. Now, you can always knock people off first spot, second spot for informational, but high commercial intent queries that are exact match and their whole domain is built around that one thing. Hard. Very hard. Calcum. Looking to build out a new website from scratch. Are there any issues with the site like Squarespace? Interested in as it looks simple and easy to use. We work on Squarespace sites. Drawbacks, I think there's pluses and minuses to all builders, hosting, registrars. Like any web service, I'm sure there's good things to say and there's bad things to say. Squarespace is definitely better than GoDaddy, the builder itself, right? I like it better. But I think it comes down to preference. There's a lot of really good options out there. I'm trying to work out something as far as a deal because we use their services a lot. I want to work out something with Cloudways because I use their service. I internally promote, like when I get a client and they're unsure, we'll use Cloudways and use Cloudways to put WordPress on. It does very, very well. Like if I, not if, I have started 2 new projects. Yes, the tool set is on Next.js and we're using Google servers, Google CDN, Google DNS, all Google, right? But I have a testing website that's about to launch where I'm giving away my tests for free and starting a blog just so I want to talk about what we're testing so I can help people. The big piece there is we're using Google Cloudways with Google, and it's WordPress. As far as WordPress is concerned, if you don't want WordPress, that's okay. Squarespace has an advantage. But if you do decide to go with WordPress, I would recommend either Cadence, Bricks, Oxygen, something along these lines. Live Canvas works good, but it doesn't have all the features and all the bells and whistles. All right. NRS. Okay. And then the very last question. How do we join the SEO Mastermind testing group? And joining that also gives us the YouTube Mastermind, or are they separate? Thank you. That's a very good question. If you're in the testing mastermind and you ask me for the Restream link when we're in the testing group, because the testing group is a monthly recurring fee. If you want to join the YouTube mastermind and you ask me for the link, I'll give it to you. Like, I consider the testing group even though it's low cost considering some of these other, I'm going to do the tests anyway, right? So it's like I get to talk with my friends at this point because a lot of members have been there for years. I see these people every week. We become friends. Like, I would consider us to have the closest or the highest level of commitment. So like if you said, hey, Chris, I'd really like to join the mastermind, send me the link, I'd send it to you. Hey, Chris, I want to see your course that you did, but you never released. Can I get that link? I'd give it to you. I had a guy today come in. He was in the testing group and he's like, hey, those GMB verification methods you were talking about, I gave him the walkthrough. To me, it's like the highest level of commitment, even though it's low cost. So the answer is yes. Yes, I would. I would have no problem. But that is monthly recurring and it's to some people expensive. But is there a testing group? I am new to the stream. There is. And the testing group is, if you search for SEO Testing Mastermind, it's right here at seomastermind.org. All right. So if you come over here, come on over to, scroll down. I have this option, and you can read all about it. I have this option, and then this right here is actually a free option. But if you want to get the benefits or get free tests as part of the YouTube Mastermind, click on that. But when you click on this, inside of the community tab here on YouTube, you'll have to put in the discount code. All right. So then you'll have access. All right. But you get benefits if you buy the Brain Box, which is the testing group. And then again, like I mentioned, like I'm super open in that group. So it's up to you though if you're interested. All right. But it's testing. Like lately, because I went on vacation, there's tests running. Like I went away for a week, so like the testing group was slow. I'm waiting for tests. My main tester, like somebody who helps me with tests, I can't do 3 tests a week by myself. He went away. He left for a month. So like it slowed me up because as I'm doing mine, he's doing his. So basically it gives me 2 weeks to produce 3 tests. And then he gets 2 weeks to produce 3 tests. 2. You see what I mean? 2 weeks to week. So that would make every week I have 3 tests. And then generally what we'll do is the people that are live, I put each test into a PDF format. Here, I'll share with you one. So you have an idea of what we're talking about. I'll share with you an easy, fun one. This is one of the ones from this past week. All right. I don't mind sharing this because it's something simple. Okay. It's nothing crazy, but this is exact format that we utilize. So, what are we testing? Well, the test here is, do WebP images actually make a site faster? Does the site load faster? Right? So we have a website with a large image, a hero image. The original image is a JPEG. All right. The new image is a WebP. So before, when using just a JPEG, same settings, same everything, 1.4, 0 ms, 2.4, 1.46, and a 0. This is incognito, mind you. All right. So that would mean like I erased everything, like it was a fresh run. Okay. Then we changed the image to a WebP. And what happens is the largest content paintful changes. And also the total blocking time has changed. So this one here can fluctuate based upon that test. But this right here should not fluctuate. And if it does, we're talking minute differences. But to go from 1.4 to 2.7 is a vast, massive jump. So then we even turned it back. Right? And then I was showcasing, hey, here's what it looks like. And then those are the results. Now, there's a few more pieces there. I don't want to, because it is part of the group. I don't want to give it all away. But that's what the format is. We're testing something. See, this is just a little tidbit test because, like I said, one of my main testers is gone. Well, he's back now, but he was gone. So I was just getting stuff that I could do so I could have tests for the next week. You see, does that make sense? All right, so there you go. And that's what you can expect to receive. Now, we test links, we test CTR, we test traffic. If somebody makes a training or a course, like there was a course not too long ago floating around, there was like $1,000. And we're like, what? Okay, what's the methodology? Well, let's test the methodology and let's see. And that's what we did. But we test stuff all the time. All right, last but not least, it's this. All right. How does Proxy Pixie work with your auto applying to jobs on the internet? Can it do that job for me? Well, Proxy Pixie, I'll point this out since you asked. Thank you. I never show this one because it's in the realm of SEO, but it's slightly different. Proxy Pixie is just for mobile proxies. So we have different types of mobile proxies, but that's shared, dedicated, SEO tool, web scraping. All right. I think I lowered the cost on these. So if you click on these, you'll be pleasantly surprised. But with that said, it's dedicated 4G, 4G LTE, 5G, AT&T, T-Mobile. It's just a proxy service, just proxies. All right. That's all. Hopefully that helps you out. All right. And then I think that wraps it up for today. So it's been an absolute pleasure. I want to thank you so much. I hope that you've learned a few tricks today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing this time with me. And I'll see you guys and gals in the next video. Thank you so much.